won in...
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
I want to start off the show with a warning. Ilhan Omar has just said that unless Donald Trump gets us out of Iran, we could be facing World War XII. Just so you know, we could actually have World War XII if we're not too careful, if Donald Trump doesn't get us out of Iran. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome. We're going to call it Movie Vampires Wednesday because so much good news is happening for the Republican Party and MAGA and all this, and so much bad is happening for Democrats, including a Supreme Court ruling, which means probably another 12 seats for Republicans coming up in the midterms.
The Supreme Court 6-3 struck down.
Here is Mike Davis.
The Supreme Court 6-3.
Yeah.
Struck down a DEI district in Louisiana. The six conservative, six constitutionalists stuck together. And the holding was this, that under the Voting Rights Act of 1965, in order to have these DEI districts, in order to have intentional racial discrimination with these districts, you have to show that you're remediating intentional racial discrimination.
Yes.
So you can't just...
Instead of just, promising black people you're going to give them the earth, the moon, and the stars, then do nothing for them so you can just get their votes.
Demand...
The Democrat Party's been doing that since 1965.
Minority districts in these states, the state legislatures get to draw these districts. They get to draw them based upon politics. And again, unless you can show intentional racial discrimination, the courts need to stop getting involved with redrawing these districts. And
there you go. That is the great Mike Davis Article 3 project. So that's good news. And that's the first way today that, I told you that Democrats die like movie vampires. They, dragging, kicking, and screaming, trying to drag us into hell.
So it is mine.
That has got to hurt. Oh, no, we can't have DEI districts anymore. There you go. So there's that. That's the first thing there. And then, here's this next thing. It looks like old Jim Comey, the former FBI director, is being indicted because 8647 means kill the president.
Today, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned an indictment against James Comey on 2 counts. The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm.
Boy, of all the weeks for this White House Correspondents' Dinner, third time assassination to happen, right?
Upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States.
That's what 8647 means. There's no doubt about that, by the way.
Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of 10 years.
Wow, so he could face 20 years in prison.
Roper Bright says
and by the way, there's a lot more to this because there's this grand conspiracy case. So there's number 2 there. That. Okay, Okay, and then we got one of Fauci's associates being indicted for conspiracy against the United States, destruction, alteration, or falsification of records in federal investigations. A new fresh Harvard poll shows that there's going to be no blue wave right now. The Democrats and Republicans are tied, for God's sake, which means Republicans are ahead by 10. That's usually how it works out. Oh, I just think it's so great. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. There's so much good news today. Did you see the King yesterday? It's good to be the King. There were no Kings protests, which I guess means maybe, I don't know, the no Kings protests were pretty just another repurposed, bought and paid for Neville Singham, George Soros protest against Donald Trump, because they really don't mind Kings. They just hate Donald Trump. I'm thinking that's what it's all about. Meanwhile, King Charles like, hey, how you doing, everybody? Bloody cheerio, all that. And nobody said anything. In fact, the no Kings protesters in Congress stood up and, oh, yes, we love Kings. We absolutely love Kings. It is so fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. But Jim Comey is in a whole lot of trouble for posting online 8647, which means to kill Donald Trump. That's it. And there's no doubt about it, you stupid son of a gun. Everybody knows what it means when you say 8647. It means kill Donald Trump. Shut up. Just shut up. I'm just done with your nonsense. And by the way, altogether there were 4 attempts to kill Donald Trump, because there was a guy who went to Mar-a-Lago, sneaked into Mar-a-Lago with a gun a few months ago. He sneaked in behind a pickup truck, got in there, and they shot him and everything. So it's 4 times, by the way, 4 times. And Jim Comey decided to play in on this, think it was cutesy and all this, and act like he was clueless because, he's just walking on the beach, and he likes to listen to what's her name, going out with the Kansas City Chiefs. Why am I drawing a blank on her name, Brian? Dating Travis Kelce. Taylor Swift, dear God in heaven. Yeah, an adult man who was former FBI director, a big Taylor Swift fan. We should expect anything better. And this is the great thing about this dope. He wrote a book and nobody bought it, and then went after Donald Trump with all the force of the DOJ to take him down for nothing, Russia collusion, the whole deal. He's going to go to jail, by the way. I hope he enjoys having his children visit him in jail. Maybe they can give him some bootleg Taylor Swift concert music. But here, remember this, when he was after the 86-47 on the beach that he just found, he went on with Stephen Colbert, and he said, "Oh no, my wife did that."
Here, but is this Instagram?
Instagram.
You grammed this. You were walking down the beach. What happened?
Yeah, it's Colbert exactly. What's this? What's this Instagram thing? He knows exactly what it is because he was invited on the Colbert Show to do a little CYA.
And you were walking down the beach. And you saw this on the beach?
Yeah, my wife and I, Patrice, were walking on the beach and saw those numbers in shells on the beach. And
you didn't do this, somebody else did this.
Yeah, somebody else did it. We were on a walk.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. It's just right there in the sand. I mean, this happens all the time.
Yeah, preparing for this week, the rollout of my book.
Yep.
She
walked right past that giant SOS, and the guy with the scruffy beard and looked half starved.
At it and said, "Why'd someone put their address in the sand?"
All right.
Oh, yeah, where's the address? Somebody must live at 8647.
And then we stood at it, trying to figure out what it was. And she'd long been a server in restaurants. And she said, "You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
I think it's a reference to restaurants when you would 86 something."
Yeah, that's what it is, honey. Oh, yeah, sure, yeah. Well, didn't you just put those in the sand? No, we didn't do that. We just found it.
Restaurant.
Right, it's off the menu.
Yeah. I said, no, I remember when I was a kid, you'd say 86 to get out of a place. This place stinks, let's 86 it.
Right, I was a bartender. You would 86 a customer if they were getting drunk.
Yeah, and then all the mob movies, when they kill people, they'd say 86 them.
Like, let's 86 them. Give them a low-proof alcohol, something like that. Yeah.
And so I said,
oh, my God, this is why Colbert doesn't have a job anymore. His show's ending very shortly. Thank God.
I think it's a clever political message. And she said, you should take a picture.
Why? That is a clever political message. You should take a picture, honey.
Of it. I said, sure. And then she said, you should Instagram that. And boom.
Oh, my God, he blamed his wife for putting it on Instagram. Oh, that is so funny. That's so funny. But you know who's not buying it? The guy we just heard from, Mike Davis.
Yeah, and I want to say cheers to both Pam Bondi, who started these investigations, and Todd Blanche, who is pulling the trigger and bringing these indictments. There's no one who deserves to be held accountable more than former FBI Director James Comey. He's smug. He politicized and weaponized our FBI, our intel agencies, our law enforcement to go after President Trump. He helped make up the Russian collusion hoax. He lied about it. He was responsible for taking out General Michael Flynn with the bogus investigation and indictment.
Yeah.
James Comey can go to hell.
Yeah, 100%. Go straight to old HE double toothpicks. Jim Gossett as the Prezi on the Rob Carson Show.
For Jim Comey, jail is in play. He got indicted yesterday.
Cheers.
For his arrest, I hope and pray Comey's a buffoon. The DOJ's prepared to fight. Their case is strong, yes, it's airtight. Jim in handcuffs, what a sight. I'd love to see that
soon. Is this retribution or accountability?
I really hope that he gets nailed. Comey convicted, Comey jailed. For his crimes he has to pay. It's time to put Comey away.
Nice.
Today, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned an indictment against James Comey on 2 counts.
Comey and John Brennan too should get the punishment they're due. Please arrest them, do it now.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Welcome to Wednesday, folks. We got Hillary Ford, which is going to be joining us at the bottom of the hour. The King was in town yesterday. Might still be here, actually. I'm sure he is. And then later in the show, Doug Burns going to be talking about this redistricting case that the Supreme Court has just wrecked the Democrat Party. They're on suicide watch. We'll get to that on the show. Here's the number, 800-922-6680. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Listen for the news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
The Attorney General would say such a thing. He just has a feeling that there was spying against the campaign. We're losing sight here of what started all this, and that was the Russian meddling, the Russian interference in our election process. And the Russians pose a profound threat to this country.
When I look back in terms of how we handled it, I think we handled it the way it should have been handled. Unless the American people genuinely think that the professionals in the CIA, the FBI, our entire intelligence infrastructure are less trustworthy than the Russians, then
they were.
People should pay attention to what our intelligence agencies say.
There should be no fuzz on this whatsoever. The Russians interfered in our election during the 2016 cycle. They did it with purpose. They did it with sophistication. They did it with overwhelming technical efforts. And it was an active measures campaign driven from the top of that government. There is no fuzz on that. It is a high confidence judgment of the entire intelligence community.
No, it's absolutely wrong. And that's Jim Comey and James Clapper. They both collaborated. They worked with Barack Obama to create the Russia collusion hoax to take away from Hillary Clinton's obvious collusion with Russia, selling Uranium One, getting hundreds of millions of dollars into her faux charity, her foundation to make her an oligarch and all that. Oh yeah, this is the retribution they've been afraid of. We call it accountability where I'm from. So there you go. Yeah, Jim Comey, for something completely different, he threatened Donald Trump's life with a cute little picture that he posted on Instagram that said 8647, which everybody knows means kill President 47, and that's Donald Trump. Mike Davis, one more time. I'm giving a lot of time with Mike Davis today. What the hell?
James Comey thinks it's acceptable for the former FBI director to make threats against the president of the United States, and that's exactly what James Comey was doing. This is after President Trump was reelected. He's in the White House, and it's 86-47. There's no question that
you're the friggin' FBI, former FBI director. Please give me a break.
Was a threat and encouragement.
I don't know. I was listening to Taylor Swift.
Of deranged people to take matters into their own hands because they disagreed with the election.
Yeah.
And to
we've been kind of going through this crap for about a decade now.
Assassinate the president of the United States. James Comey can pretend like he didn't know what that meant. He knew exactly what that meant. He's the former FBI director. Yeah. And so he can say that his speech was not intended to be threatening, or it was political speech, or it wasn't a true threat. Those are good arguments that he can make to an Eastern District of North Carolina jury.
Yeah, it's broadcasting to the entire world a stochastic terrorist threat, which, by the way, means that you inspire people to act on your behalf by driving them insane, calling Donald Trump Hitler and then actually literally saying, go kill him. Here's Senator Eric Schmidt about Democrats, and this is what we're dealing with. And I got to tell you all better get on the right side of God and good if you think Donald Trump should be killed. You've swallowed the Kool-Aid that they've been feeding you. Of course, you probably also still wear a friggin' mask.
25% of those who describe themselves as very liberal believe political violence is legitimate, compared to 3% of people who identify as very conservative. That's 3% too many.
But 100% of conservatives know that if you F with us, we will beat you to the ground.
But let's not pretend it's the same thing. Let's also not pretend that it's not a serious problem that 55% of those on the left believe it is at least somewhat justified to assassinate President Trump.
Yeah, so this is pretty damn serious, and we're getting pretty damn tired of it. And this might send a little warning shot over the bow of morons who would do such things. William Brennan was on CNN talking about the Comey impending. He's going to be arrested. He's going to turn himself in.
It has to be remembered that this indictment is so different from the previous Comey indictment. This involves a threat against the President of the United States.
He's a former attorney for Donald Trump.
So the common courtesy of allowing somebody to self-surrender may not be extended here.
That is going to be.
Especially in light of the White House Correspondents' Dinner debacle. I think that it probably won't be extended here because a message has to be sent.
Yes.
Of course, Mr. Comey is presumed innocent, but a message has to be sent to the people that are watching this that if you are accused of threatening the president, you'll get no courtesy.
I think they ought to send the FBI and a SWAT team to his house, just like they did with Donald Trump. Yeah, with all those long guns and everything. And they even had them coming in on boats and stuff, and then they ran across by the swimming pool and all that. Told them to turn off the cameras and sent all the people out so they could plant evidence and all of that, and then raided Melania's underwear drawer just for bleeps and giggles, I guess, because they're just a bunch of sick you-know-whats. Just a bunch of sick you-know-whats. This is Democrat Representative Suhas Subramanian Ding Dong talking about how this is this shouldn't happen.
How did you, when this posting went up,
and here he is, he's playing Clueless again, by the way.
Interpret the phrase 8647. What did it mean to you?
It means he wants to get rid of Donald Trump by electing him out, or
that's what it is. They want to by electing him out.
By standing up to him. I didn't see it as violent in any way or
in light of all the violence, and this happened after the 2 assassination attempts.
Going after the president physically or trying to hurt him. And James Comey.
Why don't you just say impeach Donald Trump, or how about Kamala Harris in 2028? Like that's going to happen.
Clarified that after the post went up, he took it down when he realized people were misinterpreting it, and he clearly said that.
And he blamed it on his wife.
It was not meant to incite any sort of violence, and he didn't mean for any sort of violence.
After he posted it and he was caught, and everybody said, "Hey, 8647 means kill Donald Trump." Then he's like, "Oops, I don't know what the hell happened. I did not mean that." Please. You know why he did it? Because everybody else was doing it. Dear God. By the way, I had to leave my ghost bed early this morning. I was disappointed. I had to get up at 5:30. And it was hard for me to get out of bed because I was in my ghost bed, and I love my ghost bed. But I'm going to return to the ghost bed today and take a little nap this afternoon. I cannot wait. If you do not have a ghost bed, you need a ghost bed. If you are having terrible sleep, you need to get a ghost bed. If your bed stinks, you need to get a ghost bed. If you want to get a great deal on a ghost bed, save 10% by going to ghostbed.com/Carson, ghostbed.com/Carson, American-made beds. And I'm telling you, they're the best ever. They're the best ever. You will stay cool when it's hot. You will stay warm when it's cold. And you will sleep like you've never slept before. Ghostbed.com/Carson for 10% off. I promise you, you're going to love it. King Charles was in Washington, D.C. yesterday, joining us to talk about the repercussions and whatnot. Hillary Fordwich on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, Make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed.
What a beautiful British day this is. Now it is our tremendous privilege to host you, and you're going to have a wonderful short stay, but stay nevertheless. My mother, she loved the royal family. I also remember her saying very clearly, Charles, look, young Charles, he's so cute. My mother had a crush on Charles. Can you believe it?
I gotta tell you, only Donald Trump would say that to the King of England when he comes to visit. My mom had a crush on you. That is spectacular. Oh, my goodness. Hillary Fornwich, keynote speaker, GBN and Newsmax contributor, among other things, joins us on the Newsmax hotline. I got to tell you, this is quite a visit, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, Rob. And I have to tell you that as an English-born girl, I was actually a bit in trepidation. I'm a very proud American, a legal American in this country, but I was in trepidation coming into this because I thought, excuse me, I thought, goodness gracious, is this going to be a year of like Brit bashing. Oh, we beat you. We beat the colonists. You know, I wasn't quite sure. And I have to tell you, Rob, I've never felt prouder to be an American when President Trump was listing, you know, from the fields of England to the mountains of Scotland and Wales, and when he went on about all the American states that are named for the British monarchs, like South Carolina, North Carolina, the towns, Charleston, Georgetown, Alexandria, I was just so proud. And I thought President Trump was so presidential. And of course, don't forget, most of the UK saw that speech and thought so highly of him. And that King Charles inserted comic levity. One of his lines I enjoyed was when he said, you know, I'm here to celebrate the 250 years. Or as we say in the UK, just the other day.
Just the other day? Oh, my God, it was so fantastic. There were so many good lines. There was so much goodwill. Did you see the pageantry? Did you see the Revolutionary War soldiers of both sides there? Did you see the pipe and drum, fife and drum corps perform? Either your phone is kind of sounding weird. Can you figure that out real quick? But the fife and drum corps, the pageantry, it really was positively patriotic in the 250th anniversary of the birth of our country. And was it the first time that the King of England was officially here? Because he's only been the king for a short time.
Oh, yes, he's been here many times as Prince Charles, but he's never been here as King Charles. And you're right. I did think also what was so important about the comic levity that was added, not only did it diffuse a lot of the political fiction, but it's one thing to have a speechwriter. It's another, and to be able to read a speech, it's another thing to be able to deliver it.
Yes.
The cadence and the delivery that both King Charles and President Trump did. And I loved it when President Trump had obviously said and reminded King Charles and the British that, you know, if it wasn't for us, all of Europe would be speaking German. And then King Charles then said at the state dinner, he said, if I dare, might I say that if it wasn't for us, you'd all be speaking French.
Yes, here's a line from King Charles about welcome from to America. Here we go.
Speaker, members of Congress, representatives of the American people across all states, territories, cities, and communities. I would like, if I may, to take this opportunity to express my particular gratitude to you all for the great honor of addressing this joint meeting of Congress, and on behalf of the Queen and myself, to thank the American people for welcoming us to the United States to mark this semi-quincentennial year of the Declaration of Independence. And for all of that time, our destinies as nations have been interlinked. As Oscar Wilde said, we have really everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language.
Which, of course, we of course took proper English and did all sorts of stuff with. That was him before Congress, and again, charming before Congress, absolutely amazing as well.
Yes, and we recently Republicans have wanted to pass a constitutional amendment to make English the official language. And my response was, "What do you mean? You're all going to learn?"
I love it. I got to tell you, I've always felt a kinship with the English, the Irish as well, by the way, but the English, and I, you know, a lot of the times Americans, we like to tease England about having the royal family, but there are a lot of fans of royalty here as well, Hillary, and certainly there were with Charles and Diana, with the passing of Diana, and now, and I just thought yesterday was. I thought it was an exercise in diplomacy and endearing friendship and good humor.
Well, it definitely was, and I think something that we should all remember is that President Trump, as a little boy, he was sitting on his mother's knee, and it's one of his earliest memories, and he saw the Queen's coronation. So he's always had this affinity for the royal family. And then also, don't forget, today, King Charles and Camilla are in New York. They're visiting the 9/11 memorial where 67 Brits perished in the Twin Towers. It's something not a lot of Americans know, but I find immensely touching, and I've got to talk about it, try to talk about it now without tears coming to my eyes. Yeah. But Queen Elizabeth totally took it upon herself to have, for the first time in all of British history, she had the Coldstream Guards. At the changing of the guard, they played the Star Spangled Banner. Never had the American national anthem been played, and there were scenes. You can go back to the old footage, and you can see people in the crowds outside of Buckingham Palace weeping. And I thought it was so sensible, and that was how much we were united as nations. And I just hope that our special relationship will endure. And I think there have been many monarchs have come and gone, and leaders have come and gone, presidents and prime ministers. We as Americans should treasure. It's just the Keir Starmer right now doing the wrong thing and not doing the right thing.
Your phone is doing weird stuff again, Erica. You've got to get or Hillary. You've got to get a new phone. Anyway, I want to share this because this was one of the best moments yesterday. King Charles, and Donald Trump restored the bust of Winston Churchill. Barack Obama slapped Great Britain in the face, getting rid of that bust of Winston Churchill. And Donald Trump returned that because he belongs there. He belongs there. But this also happened yesterday.
4th Submarine Squadron in Australia, playing a critical role during the war in the Pacific. Her name? HMS Trump. So tonight, Mr. President, I am delighted to present to you as a personal gift. The original bell which hung on the conning tower of your valiant namesake. May it stand as a testimony to our nation's shared history and shining future. And should you ever need to get hold of us, or just give us a ring.
So the presentation of the bell from the ship HMS Trump, I think it genuinely took Trump by surprise and flattered him immensely.
You're absolutely correct there, Rob. You're totally correct. The other thing that which also took him by surprise, I think he absolutely relished, was there's been a discovery that he's 15 times removed a cousin of the king.
Wow.
And that for him, he has everything in the world anybody could ever want, the fame, the money. He doesn't need any products. He doesn't need any jewelry or clothes, or he doesn't need a plane. But that, I feel like inside, I bet he was like a little boy on Christmas morning getting the best gift he could ever get.
It was really something else. We've got to take a break and come back more with Hillary Fordwich. Hillary Fordwich on the other side of the break, of course, GBN and Newsmax contributor, public speaker as well. Hillary Fordwich on Twitter. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
not necessarily those of the owners, management, employees, and advertisers of WCBM.
We meet too in the aftermath of the incident not far from this great building that sought to harm the leadership of your nation and to foment wider fear and discord. Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed.
There you go. That is the King Charles talking about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump unsuccessfully, thankfully, last Saturday night at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I was glad to hear that coming from the King as well. We have, by the way, Hillary Ford, which on the Newsmax hotline. Your thoughts?
Yes, I think he did exactly the right thing, because what he did was he acknowledged, of course, how brilliant our Secret Service was, and actually they were absolutely exceptional. And the most important thing I think that wasn't really mentioned by a lot of people was that King Charles was in Australia just about in the 1990s, I believe it was, and there was an assassination attempt on his life. So he had this great connection with President Trump. There were blanks at that time, but he literally kept calm and carried on and delivered a speech right after he'd been shot at. Yeah. So I think that was a way that they were able to, as two leaders, relate to each other, and I think that's why he had a deep affinity for what President Trump had gone through, and he and Queen Camilla issued an immediate letter of empathy to President Trump, and I think that was very much appreciated as well. So it became, ironically, although very sad and scary, a very good connection point.
Absolutely. By the way, I hear at the state dinner they served authentic English cuisine. It was curry.
Yeah, oh, gosh. Please. I did wonder why, when they came for afternoon tea, they served all this sort of English food. Why on earth come to America and serve like American food? Serve like great American steak and American food. But anyway,
or McDonald's, for goodness sake. Why the heck not McDonald's?
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to play Harry Hinton. You know Harry Hinton from CNN. He's got some new numbers on Keir Starmer's popularity. Keir Starmer, by the way, I wouldn't expect Keir Starmer to hear Donald Trump ringing that bell for help that was presented to the president. But here is Harry Hinton.
I think things are bad here in the United States. Why don't you just go across the pond over to the UK, because things are just downright atrocious over there for Keir Starmer. Just take a look here. Britain's satisfied with Keir Starmer. Overall, 18%. You can't even drink or smoke anymore when you're 18%. You're below that line. That's not good. How about his own party, the voters who voted him in back in 2024? Less than 50% of Labour Party voters back in 2024 actually are satisfied with the job that Keir Starmer is doing. When less than 50% of your own party voters are satisfied with what is shaken, you know you're in bad shape.
Wildly unpopular right now.
He's not doing very well, and he seems to be kind of going down in flames. What are your thoughts about those numbers? I'm surprised they're that high.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah. I want to beat the 18 people who think he's doing a very good job. What is that on the economy? What is that on defense? What is that? Every 45 minutes, a millionaire leaves the UK. So I don't know what those people are happy about. But what's really important in this is we must remember that he's the leader of the Labour government, which is not the same. Obviously, it's more like being a Democrat here, but they're basically left of Liberal. They've made most Democrats look extremely conservative. And it's been extreme. And I would say that Margaret Thatcher said the problem with communism, with socialism, is you run out of spending other people's money. They're driving the very people away that have any money, rather like Montgomery is doing actually in New York. So it's not going to last long.
No.
I suppose that there's a change in government so that we can bring the UK back before it's too late, Rob.
All right, listen, we're having phone issues, so we're going to have to let you go. Hillary Ford, which keynote speaker, Newsmax contributor, GBN contributor as well. Go to Hillary Fordwich on Twitter. Thank you very much, Hillary, and thanks for joining us. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Okay, very good. I think she's using one of those old-timey World War II walkie-talkies that our GIs used to use. Maybe that's what she's, I don't know what the deal is. But Hillary is awesome. We just have a little connection problem. I think we're going to start having her on video, to be quite honest. She's an amazing lady. I enjoy talking to her a great deal. So did you hear the reflecting pool between the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Monument is being completely redone. And it's kind of a metaphor for what Donald Trump is doing to Washington, D.C., because they've got these little bobcats in there. Now, bobcats are these little front-end loaders. For those, it's like a mini bulldozer for you guys who live in the city. And what they're doing is they're going in there, and they are finding that it is filled with sludge and crap. Yeah, goose crap and mud and sludge. And that was Washington, D.C. And Donald Trump is cleaning this city. I got to tell you, it has changed dramatically since I moved here 8 months ago. I was at the Cherry Blossom Parade. It was flawless and beautiful. There were no cigarette butts on the ground. There were no homeless people with heroin needles sticking out of their arms. I went to DuPont Circle. People are having picnics, not pushing shopping carts full of garbage. It's absolutely stunning. This fall, I want you to come and see the beauty of this city because it is like it's never been before. Donald Trump is the president. 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. MMA fight coming up on June 14th. We got a Grand Prix race downtown. We got the city clean and spotless, and all we need here is you. Come and join me October 25th through the 29th, 5 days, 4 nights. White House Visitor Center Tour, U.S. Capitol Tour. You'll find out about the little cat prints in the concrete in the lower level are. There's kitty cat footprints. They'll explain what it is. It's kind of interesting. Visit Arlington National Cemetery, changing of the guard, stand in awe before the towering figure of Abraham Lincoln, take in the beauty of D.C.'s legendary memorials with a special nighttime illumination tour. It's going to be the trip of a lifetime. And I want to spend it with you. I said, we're going to do a trip to D.C. They're like, you live there? I said, I want my listeners to come here because this is important to them. So you get 4 nights accommodations at Heart of D.C., 6 meals, ground transportation, guides, gratuities, space limited. Travelwithrob.net. Travelwithrob.net or 800-383-3131, 800-383-3131. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. That phone was dreadful. It can't happen again. That was unlistenable. Hello, everybody. Jimmy Freckles is watching. Candace Owens' husband just got arrested. Really? Are you sure? I've not seen you in here before, so I will take your headline under advisement. Rita in Tennessee, hello. Hello, how are you? And Shelby Inslee. Are you English, Shelby Inslee? Round the pony. Congress said it would cost, no, Tom, Congress said it was going to cost $300 million. Trump did it for $1.5 million to $2 million, and he's doing it in 3 weeks. Sportech says, hey, how about having your daughter on my show? No, my daughter, no, she's not like me. She's not like me. She's an artist. She's has a wry, very dry sense of humor, and she's not political. So, we have a great chemistry. We have a lot of fun, but it wouldn't be good on the radio. But I can't wait to see her. My God in heaven, I can't wait to see my daughter. Cannot wait. Tim Waltz skipped a Minnesota House oversight hearing on how his administration has been combating fraud in the state's child care services. Isn't that interesting? That's according to Newsmax. You know why? Because he's complicit in it. He's a crooked SOB, and hopefully he's going to go to jail for the rest of his life. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Tim Waltz going to prison for the rest of his life because he's a lousy, corrupt piece of garbage. Yeah, I think it'd be nice. All right, we got to talk. Nope, hold on. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. In a montage. Comey arrested. Shabba-dibba. Oh, yeah, I got one. I got one for you. Here you go. Here we go. Time for me to talk. Senator John Kennedy talking about Jim Comey and his pending arrest.
Well, I haven't, Rob, I haven't read the indictment. I do have, unfortunately, a lot of experience with Mr. Comey. Mr. Comey is one of those individuals, while smart, is too immature to be given power. Again, I'm not saying he's not smart, but he's too cute by half. And he thinks smarter and more virtuous than everybody else.
Yeah.
Probably, given his personality and his lack of morals, the best job for Mr. Comey would be to go to work for Panda Express and let him try to work his way up into management.
They wouldn't hire him. They wouldn't hire him. The thing that one of the biggest problems I have with, other than that he's a corrupt SOB who weaponized the DOJ to put an innocent man in jail, Donald Trump, and surveil and persecute his followers, his voters, and everything. He's beyond filthy, rotten, corrupt. Beyond filthy, rotten, corrupt. He needs to spend the rest of his bloody life in jail. But he's also an immature ass. He decided he'd do this cutesy crap online. I don't know why listen, I am a silly man, all right? I am a serious man, but I am a silly man. I'll tell you that right now. The fact that I do comedy, the fact that I am theatrical, the fact that all this, does that take away from the weight and the information that you garner from my opinions? No, it doesn't. I don't think anyway. And if it does, you've got a problem because I use humor to make a point. Gutfeld does the same thing. Jim Comey is supposed to be a serious individual. He was the head of the FBI. And here he is online talking about how what a big fan of Taylor Swift he is, and then going and spelling seashells on the seashore in the shape of 8647, which means kill Donald Trump. And everybody knows what it is. This is the emperor's new clothes kind of thing. Everybody knows what it is. If you walked into a liberal enclave like San Francisco wearing a t-shirt that said 8647, you'd get high fives and people would say, yeah, kill the orange man. That's what they would do. And he knows it as well as anybody, so I'm not going to entertain the possibility that he didn't know what the hell it was. The entertain that his wife would, and my God, woman, why are you still married to this man? That he would go on national television on Stephen Colbert's show and suggest that you post the seashells on Instagram, and that's why it got on Instagram. And by the way, he took it down immediately once it was pointed out what he knew. I mean, what first of all, what everybody knows it meant, and that the fact that he pulled it down so quickly proves that he knew what it meant. All right, so we've got much more coming up on the show, including the midterms right now are neck and neck, which means Republicans are ahead. A member of the Fauci clan indicted for hiding the fact we paid for the virus that killed millions. That's coming up. Don't go anywhere.
time to listen to you, the listener. Go to WCBM.com and vote on WCBM's latest poll. It's fun, it's fast,
One, two,
and
three.
let us know what you want more of on WCBM.com.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show. Ladies and gentlemen, number 10 political podcast for commentary in America. Right behind Victor Davis Hanson. My goodness, we broke the top 10. Unbelievable. Number 42 for news and overall podcast of all the podcasts out there. 250. That's not bad. No, in fact, it's friggin' amazing. That's ridiculous. It's remarkable. And I'm noticing when I'm out and about, I don't have an affiliate here in the D.C. area. I should. WMAL. I was promised one about 13 years ago from MAL, but, the Dickey brothers said no. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, actually, it is fibbed to me. That said, but I hear a lot of people who've heard of me. They know what's going on. They're like, oh, I know you, that. So, we're still growing and growing by leaps and bounds as well. By the way, I did a Q&A with Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank, and Ashley Davis, who's written this wonderful book about pivoting your life at the Kennedy Center. I was on stage the other night, and I was watching it. I posted it on all my social media at Rob Carson or Rob Carson Show on everything. I believe we're on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter for sure. Truth Social, Getter as well. The link to the visit the other night at the Kennedy Center, the Trump Kennedy Center, and I'm my worst critic, but I thought it was a pretty good interview. I thought it was fascinating from both of them. I thought it was a very fascinating interview, and I was very proud to be on stage at the Trump Kennedy Center. It was really something else. Can you believe this, guys? This guy who's 7 years ago was a drunk car salesman. And then went through all of this, and now I'm in Washington, D.C., and I was on stage at the Kennedy Center. Wow. It's just remarkable. I'm really blessed. I'm glad you're here with me, by the way. It means a lot. I'm going to do a little bit more Comey stuff because Jim Comey's a scumbag piece of crap. Did I say that out loud? Well, of course I did. An arrest warrant issued for FBI Director Jim Comey after he was indicted by a grand jury in Eastern District of North Carolina related to his Trump assassination post on Instagram. And there's a lot of that going around. Here he is yesterday, being like the little girl that he is on social media. I'm not sure if he had a Taylor Swift song associated with this, but here he is.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It'd be like if you spray painted, kill Trump on a sidewalk. This is like the beach version of it.
A year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still...
Oh, he's playing victim. He is a rectum. Never mind.
Still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go.
Yeah, it's not corrupt anymore like when you were there.
But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to.
No, actually, the way you ran it is not who we are as a country and what our Justice Department should have been. And you're going to go to jail for what you and others did to it.
Supposed to be. And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values.
Good luck with that.
Keep the faith.
Yeah, keep the faith. Keep the faith in what? Who's your God? I don't feel a feeling it's the one that I worship, because this is what you guys did. This is the feeding frenzy that you caused. You and the DOJ. All of these 4 political indictments during an election year. A raid on Mar-a-Lago that was unwarranted. 2 impeachments, one after he left office. Tried to remove him from the ballot, then ultimately tried to kill him twice. No politician in American history, no American president has ever been through so much. And it was because the deep state, this includes Republicans and Democrats, every single department of our government, including the IRS, the FBI, the DOJ, the DHS, was weaponized against Donald Trump and his voters.
Donald Trump is a convicted felon.
A convicted felon, convicted felon, a convicted felon, a convicted felon.
Yeah, it didn't work. He got elected. Did a nice try, though.
Convicted felon. Convicted felon.
A convicted felon. A convicted felon.
Convicted as a felon.
Convicted felon.
He is now a convicted felon. Convicted felon.
And you can't beat him at the ballot box. What do? You recommend that somebody kill him. Yeah. Here's Jake Tapper way back in 22 when he said that, he defined stochastic terror, okay, which is inciting the mob to perform an act of violence by demonizing so much that it's righteous to them to kill them.
We in the United States need to fear more stochastic terrorism. Mm-hmm. In case you're not familiar with the term stochastic, it's defined as the public demonization of a person or a group.
Oh, I guess I need an example of that, Jake. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
He is a thin-skinned, racist bully.
He has been racist.
There has never been a president in American history who's been as so openly racist.
A racist in chief.
Okay. The president oftentimes resorts to very bigoted, xenophobic, Islamophobic, racist rhetoric.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Thanks for sharing that, Jake Tapper. Here's Jake again.
That results in the incitement of a violent act, even without express orders.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of like, I don't know, right after Donald Trump was nearly assassinated in Butler, Pennsylvania, they gave him no grace at all. They blamed his rhetoric for it.
If you think it's time for Democrats to stop calling Trump a threat to democracy.
No, fact of the matter is that he is a threat to democracy.
Wow.
No, I think we should be clear that he is a threat to democracy.
Do you think that the rhetoric, though, needs to be toned down?
I think his rhetoric should be toned down, absolutely.
Listen, these are the facts. He is a threat, period.
That is kind of weird. That's kind of exactly what Jake Tapper was talking about back in 2022.
To attack that person or group. When leaders, whether elected or in media or in a movement, when leaders claim that their opponents are pedophiles or Satanists.
Well, that's kind of what they're calling Donald Trump. There was nothing in the Epstein files that would say otherwise, but they call him a pedophile anyway.
Or a part of a grand conspiracy to hurt you and your family. Is anyone really surprised when somebody who hears this acts?
Yeah, kind of like the 4 people who've tried to assassinate Donald Trump.
What exactly?
Here's Jake now.
Exactly do you think is going to happen? Journalism and jokes are not calls for violence. Calls for violence are calls for violence.
Yeah, calls for violence are calls for violence from Democrats.
I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Into the streets! Into the streets! Into the streets!
And you will pay the price.
Riots work!
Burn the precinct to the ground.
Condemn the violence proposed by pro-Russian groups. Will she not condemn it? So I guess no condemnation.
It's your Democrat Party, by the way. 1 billion%. Batya Unger Sargon was talking on TV last night about, the Democrats are like, violence comes from the right, too. Just as much comes from the right. And, well, the problem is they're citing the wrong sources that lie about it. Here she is telling you why.
There's the Cato Institute, there's the Prosecution Project out of the University of Cincinnati, and then there's the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Now, these are all always shared by the likes of The Economist, the Wall Street Journal today shared Center for Strategic and International Studies. The problem is it's
a moral relativism, which shows a sign of a weak mind and somebody who is not educated.
When you dig down into that data, it is so deeply flawed. Let me just give you...
I'm sorry, I meant for you Democrats, edumacated. That means you don't learn much.
A few examples, okay? The Prosecution Project, supposed to list all of the acts of political violence in America, does not list Charlie Kirk's assassination. Does not list Trump's assassination attempts, does not list any George Floyd violence. 24 Americans lost their lives during those riots, not listed. But every white nationalist who's a drug dealer, that gets listed. So they list 33 white Aryans.
And when they're not listed, they're hired by the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Aryan Nation people who had a meth lab. This is political violence because they happen to be white nationalists. All right, Cato does not list any George Floyd violence. Center for Strategic and International Studies, where does it get its data from?
What?
The ADL, highly partisan, and the Southern, which just
Southern
was
Poverty Law
revealed
Center,
to have allegedly been funding the very racists that they were supposed to be fighting.
Yeah, I know. Southern Poverty Law Center is going to literally be in poverty because they're going to get sued into freaking oblivion. What an awful, awful agency. 12 years a PSYOP starting in 2014. The Southern Poverty Law Center and the Democrat Party, they created Charlottesville. You know why I know this? Because there was not another Charlottesville after Charlottesville. It was bought and paid for so they could have one talking point. They could have one talking point, and Joe Biden could say the reason he ran for president because of, as he would say it, Charlottesville. That's how we would say. Here's an influencer. Wall Street Apes actually put this influencer, who just happens to be a woman of color, talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center and the people who work there.
So apparently these are supposedly the chief employees of the Southern Poverty Law Center, which was just busted for funding the KKK, the American Nazi Party, the Unite the Right. All of the white supremacist supposed organizations were being funded by an organization made of black people.
Because they needed to make America racist. They needed to say America was racist because they weren't raising enough money. And they wanted to divide us so the Democrats could say Republicans and MAGA are racist.
So just to make it clear, an organization
they're freaking evil,
in part founded by Jews, run by blacks, are funding white supremacist organizations because there's not enough actual racism from white people, which threatens their ability to collect on welfare, social programs, get funding from the government, make millions, basically. So yeah, I hope this dispels white guilt. Because white guilt is pretty much what these people use to rob you blind of your taxes. If anyone is a slave in the big 2026, it is the white working man.
Wow. Wow. That is so offensive. Oh my God. You know, I always say, when you say that I'm white privileged, I would love for you to walk in my shoes from childhood, bro. Because you would not, some of you would not live. Some of you have said, I'm out. I'm not kidding. And it'll be in the book eventually, but I'm afraid, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to put everything in there because it would be like a horror novel. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Talk Radio 680 WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
Have a rejoin. Dig it.
But in most places on earth, they believe that your rights come from your government and from your laws. But ours was founded on the belief that your rights come from your Creator and from God.
Tragedy that Renee Good is dead, and we should all mourn it. We should all mourn it. Peggy Flanagan, the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, encouraged people to put their bodies on the line. That is irresponsible. Democrats who are encouraging people to obstruct law enforcement, they're putting them in harm's way with their rhetoric, and it's wrong.
They talked to Democrats who were talking to their constituents, and they were telling them to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance.
Yeah.
What we really need to do is be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities or federal agencies. Our own base is telling us that what we're doing is not enough.
Yeah, you Democrats are insane. And I don't think most Democrats are that way. But this is the kind of nonsense that Democrats, your leadership, and these idiots who run these NGOs have been spewing for a couple of decades. You guys are awful. You guys are violent. And I would encourage you to either get your party fixed and leave it. And if you believe in God, and if you're a patriotic person, leave that leadership in the dust, because nothing good is going to happen for you in this life or the one following if you keep going down this path.
We are not only going to punch you back, but we are going to knock you out.
We are ready to fight fire with fire. No butter knife to the gunfight. We are ready to bring the fire, bring the heat.
This is not the Democratic Party of your grandfather, right? Which would bring a pencil to a knife fight. We're bringing a knife to it.
You know, you talk a big game, but we're better armed intellectually and physically, because you see, we believe in the Second Amendment. You just try to take the guns away. So, you know, you slap, do a little slap fight. We'll just take our hand and just hit you right in the forehead, just bam, knock you right down on your butt. Just ridiculous. You know, Jimmy Kimmel is not going to be leaving, by the way. It doesn't look like he's going to be leaving ABC anytime soon for his nonsense. This is Brian Stelter, who has a part-time job now because he's such an unlikable, awful person with no appeal whatsoever. And he says ABC is, they're circling the wagons.
Yeah, that's right. Disney is standing by Jimmy Kimmel. Disney is ignoring the president's pressure to fire him. And that's important to point out first. We have seen some big examples of media company capitulation in the last year and a half. And this is not one of those examples. My sense is that Disney is prepared to defend itself if need be and sees this as a First Amendment fight that is worth having. But it might be a lengthy fight. That's because the Trump-aligned FCC is planning to take action against ABC as soon as this afternoon.
So they're going to make him in some sort of a martyr, I guess. Melania Trump supporters organizing a grassroots boycott of ABC. Amid reports Disney is ready to pull the plug on the left-wing TV host comments fantasizing about President Trump's death just days after the third documented assassination. From several of the people on this boycott starting today, I won't buy any products advertised on the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Which is what Democrats have been doing to Republican advertisers and platforms for decades. They go after Newsmax for no good reason. We don't threaten death or anything. We just have a conservative viewpoint. But you're doing that crap for years. Been doing that crap for years. So welcome to the party. Social media was responding to the Monday Morning X post from Melania. Here's what she said. I should say the First Lady. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His works are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. People like Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't have the opportunity to enter our homes each evening to spread hate. A coward. Kimmel hides behind ABC because he knows the network will keep running cover to protect him. Enough is enough. It's time for ABC to take a stand. How many times will ABC's leadership enable Kimmel's atrocious behavior at the expense of the community? Melania Trump posted. Stations which carry ABC were told to pull Kimmel slated promos from their lineups. This move to pull Kimmel completely seems imminent. And you know what? Who gives a flying rip? I have more people, I think, streaming this show and listening to this show on a daily basis than that man has watching every night on network television. That's true, actually. I also have the number 10 political commentary podcast in America, reaching millions. Thank you very much. In a studio I built myself. Here is Alex Marlowe from Breitbart last night talking to Rob Schmidt on Newsmax about Jimmy Kimmel.
Good to know we finally found the true victim of the latest Trump assassination attempt, and that's Jimmy Kimmel, of course. We all knew he was the real victim here. But of course, he was joking about assassination. Trump's not going to die of natural causes anytime soon. The biggest threat to Donald Trump's health is leftists, people who probably watch Kimmel's show and get his...
We are all Secret Service now.
...content shooting him. That's the biggest threat to his health right now. Everyone knows this, including Kimmel. Remember his track record. He lied about Charlie Kirk's assassination and said that it was a MAGA guy who did it, and then he put his clown nose on to weasel out of it in the end. The show doesn't make money, and if it does, and you alluded to this, it's because it benefits from government sanctions. Spectrum. The spectrum is allocated in the public interest, out of convenience and necessity. That's what it says in the statute. And ABC Disney allows for all this to happen, and our government has allowed for it to happen. We're not trying to silence Kimmel. They just put him on third base on ABC Disney thanks to government spectrum, and we're just saying he should go back with the rest of us and go fight for his own...
Yeah, absolutely. Fight for your own. Do it like I had to do, man. Build a studio in a spare bedroom and get discovered when you're selling cars. That's the way we do it, ready? That's what we do. Jim Gossett.
Do you hear the people sing a song of discontent, of would-be assassins who want to kill our president?
Ain't gonna happen.
We must blame the Democrats and their messages of hate. Stop them now or it will be too late.
We are all Secret Service now.
They can never win, and soon we will be free.
Done with this.
From extremist groups like the SPLC. Trump is living in their heads rent-free.
Come on!
250 years we will celebrate of the country that we love and the one that liberals hate. Trump has survived 3 attempts. So proudly he has stood. The Democrats are going down for good.
Amen. I told you the Democrat Party would have to reform itself or disappear to the dustbin of history. They're leading into the dustbin of history. They are leaning in, baby. They're just teetering right there going, whoa, I'm going to, whoa. You know what? Push them. Bam. Bye. See ya. Hasta la vista. Coming up, a Supreme Court victory for conservatives and free and fair elections. Former federal prosecutor Doug Burns is going to join us to talk about that. Also, the Comey indictment. I got a big smile on my face. It's going to be here for a while. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey, guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex, with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the 2 things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com. Or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep. not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my ghost bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about GhostBed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. GhostBed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new GhostBed.
Good morning. Okay, so this at first blush here is a win for the plaintiffs who were not black plaintiffs. They were non-minority voters who challenged this decision. These two districts that were minority majority, essentially Louisiana had drawn up districts and then they were told in a legal battle that they had not represented black and minority voters sufficiently. They went back and drew a second district. So they had two of these minority majority districts. Well, then non-black voters sued and said, this is now violating our rights on the basis of race. So it looks like this is a 6-3 decision. There is one concurrence here, but it looks like
this is the decision that Republicans were hoping for coming out of the Supreme Court. Joining us to distill it so we can all understand a little bit better is the guy who does it better than anybody I know, and that is former federal prosecutor Doug Burns. Doug Burns, how are you today?
Good, Rob. How are you?
Good. So, okay, tell us what you think on this case coming down from the Supreme Court. Louisiana's second majority black congressional district could open the door for Republican-led states to eliminate black and Latino electoral districts based on race. What do you think?
Well, no, the Supreme Court is moving in a good direction on this, in my opinion, and that is that, as Chief Justice Roberts has said many times, you don't address the problem of, racial discrimination by engaging in more of it. And the fact of the matter is you can't draw districts by taking race specifically and overtly into account. And it's a very good decision. Obviously, it comes out 6-3.
Yes.
But, if you look at Supreme Court history in the last few decades, there have been cutbacks, with the Voting Rights Act in general. You remember you had that thing where they needed pre-approval from the Department of Justice, and then that was tossed out by the Supreme Court. So it's a progression towards a more conservative and, in my opinion, fairer approach.
The case related in the state of Virginia The state Supreme Court are going to be looking at that, and it doesn't sound like it's boding very well for Democrats for a number of reasons. The wording of the damned ballot measure, and then, of course, how quickly they got it on the ballot, so they thought they could ram it on through. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yep. You break it down into procedural and substantive. Procedurally, they did not follow the correct protocol to amend the Virginia Constitution. It's very, very simple. You have to have a General Assembly session, then a vote in between before the second General Assembly one, and they didn't do it. And at the court hearing, from what I read, the judges were very critical and pointing out that you did not follow the correct protocol. Now, what's interesting real quick about a procedural thing is even if the measure were wonderful, that's just a hypothetical, it doesn't make any difference. If you didn't follow the procedure, it's not going through. However, you then go to substance, which you referred to a minute ago. That thing was just laughable. Okay, they turned around with a straight face and they wrote the ballot measure. They go, "Are you in favor of amending the Virginia Constitution to restore fairness to elections?" Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, that was absurd.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is the court that struck it down, the lower court, said that was highly misleading. So as you said, and I agree with you, it doesn't, we don't want to jinx it, obviously, but I think they did very poorly in court.
It also said, as a subsection of the ballot, it said, if you vote no, all the puppies will die. They just had that.
No, and apple pie and barbecues are going to be eliminated.
Oh, my God. I mean, dude, it was so Soviet.
No, it was ridiculous.
It was Soviet. Oh, my God.
It was completely absurd. And again, it's a subset of something we always discuss, which is this new trend to mislead people, and that's very troubling. Honestly.
It is, and I hope they get their rear ends kicked up between their shoulders. I've had a smile on my face since I woke up this morning, Doug. One of the things is and I don't know where this is going to go, but Jim Comey being indicted for threatening the life of the President of the United States. I mean, if this was in the hopper, this was the worst week for him to have the indictment be announced.
I thought you might lead into this discussion with a little refrain from its beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I know.
Yeah. No, but joking aside, and I think you'll appreciate this, we're not going to do what the other side did. So if, for example, it's very interesting. If, for example, this is just a hypothetical. Let's say Kash Patel had been FBI director in the Trump first term. He's no longer in office. Biden's now president. And Kash Patel, in an unbelievably snarky fashion, posts up 8647 like a little joke, "Isn't this cool?" You would have all of the pundits, Joyce Vance, Andrew Weissman, on MSNBC, looking right into the camera, saying, of course that's a threat, and of course he knows full well what 86 means, because after all, that's a part of gang cases and other cases. And when he denies he doesn't know it, that's ridiculous. And this is clearly a threat. And then their favorite line, which I must repeat, they go, "And don't tell me this was political, because an independent grand jury made this decision." That is so disingenuous, it's beyond belief. So the point of the matter is let me be fair here. This is not the case of the century, honestly, but at the same time, if you create new rules, and I've said this to your audience many, many times, if you create new rules, you better be prepared to live by them, okay? So the fact of the matter is we'll see how it plays out. But the other thing is that Comey, and this is important, he did a lot of other stuff wrong.
I know.
We've discussed this many times. All the FISA stuff, the Russiagate stuff, and some of that has been barred by the statute of limitations. So from the standpoint of fairness and justice, I have no problem with this case, honestly.
Well, it's I think I'm just tired of this childish behavior by a man who should know better. I was mentioning earlier that I am occasionally a silly man. I do political satire, and I use satire to make a point. This man is supposed to be a serious individual. He's online talking about Taylor Swift songs. Dear God, what the hell is wrong with you? And then going out on the beach and saying, "Oh, look, I found 8647. Look at how cute I am." And then he went on with Colbert and blamed his wife.
But I'll give you a little inside baseball point.
What?
Just from trying cases for decades. Jurors are very, very, very smart, and they can also get offended, for lack of a better term. And I think that what could really hurt Comey on this one, and it's always the notion of why don't you just keep your mouth shut instead of saying anything.
Yeah.
When he came out afterwards and he literally looked right in the camera and go, "Oh, I have no idea what that means." That could really hurt him because no one believes that.
And he also pulled it down very quickly. Here's his statement, by the way, today. He had to mouth off again today. He's trying to play victim. Here he is.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be.
Wow. I got to tell you, playing to the court of public opinion as a former FBI director is so freaking pathetic.
Yeah, but again, we would be lectured in reverse if it were in the other political direction about how could you possibly argue with a straight face that one of the chief law enforcement officials in America doesn't know what that means, and on and on and on. And they set up this hypocrisy, which is just beyond belief, and a system of rationalization and rationalizing that is just beyond belief. And now when it's in reverse, we're supposed to listen to their arguments about how, this is weaponization and all this stuff. Now, having said that, the other interesting thing, which I think has gotten lost in translation, but I don't purport to know exactly where the matter stands, is that the dismissal of the first indictment against him on the grounds that the United States attorney was improperly appointed is on appeal. So let's see what happens there. Yeah.
We've got believe it or not, still on the plate here, by the way. It looks like the Department of Justice indicted Dr. David M. Morin's longtime senior advisor to Anthony Fauci for a number of things. We'll get to that on the other side of the break with Doug Burns, by the way. Doug Burns Law on Twitter. Let's take a break and come back. It's the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM
There we go.
and WCBM.com.
More with Doug Burns in 1 moment. 1 moment, ladies and gentlemen. Just hold on. I know you can't wait. Supply constraints on commodities cause prices to surge. Like, the price of gas went up because of the conflict in Iran, which we're kicking ass and taking names, and most of those names being Muhammad. And you know what else is limited? A commodity? Gold. You can't just print it off. You got to dig it up. You got to go out and you got to pan for it like an old-time 49er. If you've been thinking about it for years but still haven't moved some of your savings, which is a waste of time, waste of time, you're not making any money, Birch Gold is the group that I trust because they have my money. They literally have my money. It's not a lot, but it's my money. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold giving away first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. For details and free information, kit on diversifying into gold, just text my name, Rob, to the number 989898, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, like I did. Thank you very much. Text Rob to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Again, text Rob to 989898 today. John Solomon.
Ago before that, earlier in the day, one of the top lieutenants of Dr. Anthony Fauci, a guy named Dr. David Morans, indicted in a cover-up, an accusation that he engaged in a conspiracy to keep information about the COVID-19 pandemic, specifically its possible origins from a lab leak in Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, China, where the U.S. government was funding the project where the lab leak occurred. Basically keep that out of his emails. What did he do? He was accused of moving stuff to Gmail.
Okay, now that's just the beginning of what I do believe is going to be the most, I don't even know, I keep saying the most massive scandal, but every damn week we find it a bigger scandal than the last one. But if you help pay for a virus that kills millions of people and destroys economies around the world, somebody's going to have to be held accountable. And this is just the beginning, and it sounds like they were a little sloppy with their cover-up. Let's talk about this. Doug Burns Law on Twitter. What do you think, man?
Well, I've said it before, I say it again. It was absolutely remarkable and breathtaking that in a society where we purport to champion free debate, free exercise of ideas, free speech, we were hysterically shouted down. We were not allowed to even raise the possibility that this thing originated in the Wuhan laboratory. Wow. And it was just amazing to watch that. And, you always use the term Soviet and so forth, and you're so right. My goodness, that's exactly what it was. Nobody was allowed to challenge the vaccine. Same exact point. Nobody's allowed to challenge all the anti-Trump dogma. Same exact point. So now, this is a great step, phenomenal step, okay? An aide to Fauci indicted for lying about that very issue that we just framed. Where did this damn thing start in the first place? And on and on and on. But I'll tell you what, I'd love to see him go after Fauci himself, because that guy lied over and over again.
Yeah, and you know what? He got the pardon, but this.
Oh,
is,
right.
But
I forgot that.
But listen, when you commit, let's just call it what it is. It was genocide.
Go ahead.
It was genocide, dude.
Yep.
Millions of people died.
No, I understand. I forgot that he was pardoned, so thank you for reminding me. I can't remember everything. That was very interesting. And, and of course, I'm smiling. The immediate talking points. That doesn't mean he did anything wrong. These people are unreal.
Fauci-era officials still at the NIH conspired with EcoHealth Alliance to violate a federal ban on gain-of-function research, fund the dangerous animal tests in Wuhan that most probably caused the outbreak. It was released on the world, oddly enough, in an election year. It's weird how that happens, just in time to kill an economy. Well, and I have a funny feeling it wasn't exactly an accident. I'm not afraid to say it. You know why? Because it's my friggin' opinion, and I can say it now without being called disinformation and misinformation, Doug.
And kudos to Rand Paul, who I know we disagree with on other issues. Put that to the side. What he did on the Fauci issue was very commendable. He himself is a physician, as people know, as is his dad, I believe. But the fact of the matter is he got right in Fauci's face over and over again about how Fauci lied about the gain-of-function research funding that was done, and on and on and on. I only hope, and I'm sure it'll be the case, that A, the American public will come to realize, and then B, the history books will cement it, that they absolutely flat out lied right through their teeth over and over and over.
Unbelievable. And then, as I've always said, the left exposes its flanks so we can kick their butt. Right now, you've got Ilhan Omar saying that she's worth $30 million when Joe Biden's in office. All of a sudden, no, it was an accounting error. Bull crap. What are your thoughts on Ilhan Omar?
Yeah, let me make a point there. Again, within the same exact framework of these nonsensical double standards, Donald John Trump, he borrows money, he pays back every cent, nobody loses a dime. They charge him with all kinds of nefarious, crimes and this and that. And again, on MSNOW, they're lecturing us how serious it is. This woman turns around, and it's like, my net worth is between $6 and $30 million. Oh, it turns out there is a minor little clerical mistake. Oh, is it $29 million? No, it's $50,000.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me with a straight face? If that was Trump, she'd be indicted with 92 felony counts, correct?
100%. Now, real quick, 20 seconds. Todd Blanche, what do you think, man? Todd Blanche, boy, making it happen. He's making it happen.
There's a new sheriff in town, my man.
Oh, brother. I'm glad. I'm nothing against Pam Bondi. She did a lot of good things, but I'm going to tell you, this is the feces hitting the fan, Doug. That's what it is.
No, I couldn't agree more.
I love it.
It is absolutely the feces hitting the fan. I like that euphemistic phraseology.
You got to be careful. I wouldn't want to get removed by the FCC like I wish Jimmy Kimmel would. Doug Burns, have a glorious rest of your week, bro. Okay, we'll talk soon.
Appreciate it. Take care.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. He's awesome. Feces is hitting the fan, baby. I got to play the rest of Solomon here. Oh, Dookie Bear. How are ya? Whose birthday is it? Tom K? Is it Tom K's birthday? I thought somebody saw me. Am I right? Is it Tom K's birthday? I saw happy birthday earlier. I thought it was Tom K. I don't know what your last name is. I just Tom K. Elon saying her net worth was a rounding error. She's a pièce de merde. Pièce de merde. Deplorable dinosaur. Good job, Rob. Well, thank you, deplorable dinosaur. Pam Bondi show wailed, slow walked. Yeah, a little bit of that. But Blanche is surprising me. Is it Tom K's birthday? I don't know. If it is, happy birthday, Thomas. Thank you for watching. Who's watching over here? Greg Carlson, good day. Stephen Burton, hello. Kathy, what's going on? Pranay, what's up? Pranay Uprishat. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Over on Rumbly Roo. Hi, Rumbly Roo. Hi, all you guys are watching over on X. We got a lot of people watching over there. Glad to have you watching. We got good news coming up. I got good news coming up. Oh, there's so much good stuff to come. Oh my God, there's so much good stuff to come. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. All good news. All right. Tom K, it is your birthday. Tom K. Beep.
Yeah, about 3.5.
His private email account so that it could not be discovered by the American people or Congress. Today, that resulted in 2 felony charges in his indictment. So 3 big indictments in the last 10 days, some of the biggest accountability we've had after literally years and years of talking about it, but not seeing it done.
The COVID incident in history was a disgusting, foul, evil. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. The hell they put us through because of COVID destroyed children's lives. You had families who couldn't watch their parents die couldn't go to their funerals, couldn't visit mom and dad. They were dying in the nursing home. These jackasses, when I went to visit my mother in the hospital, these jackasses, they wouldn't let her see her dog. They're like, oh, you can't, COVID. And I'm like, it's a gosh dang dog. It was that stupid. That's stupid. That's why I came up with don't catch the stupid. I said, if you believe that a paper mask will protect you from this virus, then you've caught the stupid. If you think standing 6 feet away from somebody is going to prevent you from catching this virus, you caught the stupid. If you think that a virus is never fatal with kids, should cause the schools to be shut down and destroy the economy, then you have caught the stupid. I swear. I want to see Anthony Fauci go to jail, and then I want to see him lined up. Not afraid to say it.
And now the end is near.
Hell with you.
And I'll be leaving in December.
Genocide.
And when Fauci is gone, I hope that people won't remember.
Also to all of you who pushed the vaccine.
That I was such a fraud. Oh, how I lied in such a sly way. But more, much more than this, I did it my way. Fauci, I am. I wrote the book to play both sides and be a crook. I got big bucks from the Wuhan lab. America, you paid the tab. I faced it all from Rand Paul and did it Fauci's way. I'll make more dough before I go into it Fauci's way.
Yeah. You know what payback is, Tony? There's a reason why you were pardoned. It was because they wanted to cover your crimes. It's not going to work. Karma and justice are going to catch up with you, all of you people who shut down businesses, all of you people who forced a vaccine, all of you people who kicked people out of the military because they didn't want to take a vaccine, all of you who shut down our churches. Hell is coming. Feces is hitting the fan. More on this on the other side of the break, and some good news. I got my winning jingle ready. Don't go anywhere.
WCBM News.
It's time to listen to you, the listener. Go to WCBM.com and vote on WCBM's latest poll. It's fun, it's fast, and let us know what you want more of on WCBM.com.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. Welcome to it. Please come inside. Thank you so much for listening on radio stations around the country and on the live stream as well. And you guys also, enjoying the podcast. You were number 10 in the country as far as political commentary podcasts. We would be top 10 music, or I should say radio personalities. We need more affiliates, you see. That's the thing. We need more affiliates. We're trying to convince people, hey, man, maybe you ought to, since Rob Carson's top 10 political podcasts in the country and number 42 for news and number 250 overall, maybe you ought to consider putting us on your radio station. And then also massive numbers for the live stream. So if you have a local radio station, maybe in New York or maybe in, I don't know, how about here in Washington, D.C. or St. Louis, get in touch with a local talk station. Say, yo, what's up? Why don't you have Rob Carson on? He's growing like leaps and bounds, for crying out loud. So, we'll be top 10 on air when we start adding some affiliates. We love our affiliates, by the way. KSCO in lovely Santa Cruz, WGMD in Rehoboth, Delmarva, and of course all the Benny stations in New Hampshire, Benny Media and all that. We got stations all over the country. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know, because radio's a tough road to hoe. We try to give you and your listeners destination radio that's different than what everybody else does. We also include comedy, which nobody else does. There are some people try to be funny, but they kind of fail. There's one other national show that tries to do, song parodies, but they're always terrible. And I don't even know why you bother. But ours are really good, so I'm quite proud of what we do, and I hope you might consider adding us to your lineup, if you would. I want to do a little bit more on this Tony Fauci, this indictment that's going on. Because we got screwed. Do you remember? I remember all of it because it was so wretched and awful, and the worst thing I could ever imagine for the country and for our children. I watched my daughter come home freshman year in high school, second semester, completely gone. So from December through the following fall, no schooling at all. Fall rolls around. Zoom calls. Half the time they weren't even there that semester. The next semester, sophomore year, second semester, hybrid. Go to school a day or two, do Zoom calls. A joke. First semester, junior year, hybrid, once again. Second semester, junior year. Can go to school, but you got to wear a stupid mask. Senior year. Entire year. Stupid mask. They destroyed the academic lives, the athletic lives of a generation of children, these bastards, who did this with COVID. It never had to be done. And I had to take my daughter twice and get a stupid vaccine that I didn't want to give her. But I go into this, it was dystopian. It was this large, like almost airport hangar. And they had this giant row of those, the rows of collapsible, how they make rows in the airport when you go back and forth, and the snakes along there and you got to stand there. They had that. But there was nobody in there. So we would have to walk around and stake around to go up where there were two people standing in line. Then she had to take a stupid vaccine she didn't need. And I got to tell you, and I was told by everybody, you can't talk about that. and they demanded we couldn't talk about it. The government told us we couldn't talk about it. And right now, the Justice Department indicted Dr. David Morin's longtime senior advisor to Anthony Fauci at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases on felony charges, including conspiracy against the United States, destruction, alteration, and falsification of records in federal investigations, concealment, removal of mutilation of records, aiding and abetting. Allegedly helped orchestrate a scheme to evade Freedom of Information Act requests during the COVID-19 pandemic. They lied and they hid it. They lied and they hid it. You can't say that, oh no, maybe myocarditis was happening with people who got the damn vaccine. My son has got a friend in Colorado who moved out to Colorado, 20 years old, and he was going to spend the rest of his life hiking, and now his heart is so badly damaged he can't do that. He's 26 now. Morin's and his co-conspirators used his personal email account to hide communications after restoring NIH funding to EcoHealth Alliance. Controversial backed coronavirus grant, the same grant tied to the Wuhan Institute of Virology that was terminated over lab leak concerns. They released the damn virus on us, and they caused untold damage. They destroyed your business. Was your business destroyed? Did you lose your business? Did you have to shut down? Were you out of work? Oh, I tell you what. Here's Ron Johnson.
Understand, these are not records we got from HHS and the agencies, from the Biden administration. We got these through our own investigation, and we got these through one of the universities HHS was working with. And so they provided us about 115,000 pages of documents, and my staff pulled this needle out of the haystack. And the exact quote from David Morin's emails is he said, "I learned from our FOIA lady here how to make emails disappear." And he went on to say he wanted, quote, correspondence on sensitive issues to be sent to me and my...
This is the baptism by fire I was telling you about. This is the baptism by fire that had to happen to survive another 250 years. Look at all the evil that we've uncovered. Oh, my God in heaven. Look at the evil we've uncovered.
Gmail address. And so, again, it's very clear that he was trying to avoid FOIA. He was doing government business, not on his official account, but on Gmail account. And so, the fact that my staff found that needle in the haystack, that email, we publicized that a couple of years ago. So the wheels of justice turn slowly, but hopefully they will turn certainly, and this individual at least will be held accountable.
The watchdog group White Coat Waste Project, which first exposed NIH's gain of function funding in Wuhan and the infamous Beagle Gate dog experiments. See how they tortured and murdered beagles. Applauded the indictment, but warned that Morin's was not acting alone. White Coat Waste was the first to uncover, documented, and expose NIH's reckless funding for gain of function in Wuhan and beagle testing worldwide, two of the NIH's biggest scandal. White Coat Waste Project applauds Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. White Coat uncovered evidence that other Fauci area officials still at the NIH conspired with EcoHealth Alliance to violate federal ban on gain of function, funded the dangerous animal tests in Wuhan that probably caused COVID. Of course it did. NIH has also promoted Morin's collaborator and gain of function cheerleader Jeffrey Tautenberg to replace Fauci, even though he tried to reinstate the disastrous NIH grant that funded the Wuhan lab after the WCW White Coat Project exposed it and President Trump cut it. Now, you may recall when Donald Trump was the president, they wanted to blame Donald Trump for it and everything. And Joe Biden, when he became the president, he had a big candlelight vigil on when he stole the election. I can say that too now. They did a big candlelight vigil along the Lincoln Memorial, and they had thousands and thousands of these candles in paper bags, and they were talking about 400,000 people who died of COVID during the Trump administration. They did nothing when it crossed 1 million in the Biden administration. The abuses and usurpations we suffered, my Lord in heaven. My Lord in heaven. Here is Senator John Kennedy talking about this.
Well, I remember when these allegations first surfaced about Dr. Fauci and the other minions,
Lorenz and Daisy.
And we were all told that it's a conspiracy theory and we're all a bunch of nuts.
To everyone who said anything to me about my thoughts about 2020, my thoughts about this, my thoughts about Hunter Biden laptop, my thoughts about the vaccine, my thoughts about Russian disinformation, who told me that was disinformation or misinformation and a conspiracy theory, you can kiss my butt.
We're going to have to, we now know we're going to have to get some new conspiracy theories because the old
Let me put the lip balm on it.
Turned out to be true. I've read enough to know that these gentlemen, these three, one indicted, two unindicted co-conspirators that will be indicted, they're in a lot of trouble. And it looks to me like, as at least is pleaded, that they were trying.
They caused the death of millions of people. They caused the deaths of millions of people.
Trying to hide the facts. That they were conducting gain-of-function research in China using American taxpayer dollars. And that they tried to hide it. And they imply in the emails, I don't know if it's true or not, that Dr. Fauci knew all about it.
Let's take a break, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show.
the news on Talk Radio 680 WCBM.
Ever rejoin? The media, friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
There you go. Little Alice in Chains. Crank it up, Brian. Come on. Metal makes me happy. Metal makes me happy. Not only heavy metal, but Birch Gold. I'll just throw on Birch Gold. How about that? Why not? Make a segue, right? Heavy metal. Nothing wrong with heavy metal. Gold is awesome, by the way. Gold is awesome. Stick around because I've got some good news. We've got the winning jingle, which is your favorite thing. We're going to play that in one moment and give you some good news because it's some really good. I mean, other than, Fauci's in trouble, or at least one of his associates, and Jim Comey's being indicted, and, all of this other stuff. And, and then we had the Supreme Court victory. And all. There's even better news coming up. I know. There are supply constraints on commodities. You know that as well as I do. Fuel prices when the Strait of Hormuz was blockaded. Gold is a limited commodity. It is, and it's gone through the ceiling as far as value in the last few years, from $2,600 a couple of years ago to $5,600. Right now it's hanging in the mid-4s. If you've been thinking about investing in gold for years, and I know I've been talking about it for years, and you're going, okay, maybe this will be the day, maybe this will be the day. Maybe today should be the day. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold giving first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. Woo, that's kind of cool, right? For details and a free information kit on diversifying into Birch Gold, text Rob to the number 989898. Birch Gold is the company that I trust. I know there are a million people out there who are selling gold, and there are a lot of other people out there, but I believe you trust me, and I wouldn't steer you wrong because I do have my money with it. If you don't believe me, you can call and say, you got Rob Carson's money? And they'll say, yeah, we got Rob Carson's money. What are you going to do about it? So anyway, it's not very much. We hope you have more than he does. Text my name, Rob, to the number 9898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. Again, text Rob to 989898. Real quick, I got to find my jingle. Where the hell's my jingle? I've got so many balls in the air here, it's not even funny. Omar, that's good news. I got some Omar news coming up here. Hold on, where the hell is the jingle? Here is the winning jingle, ladies and gentlemen.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning, 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 lots of winning. It's oh so good.
Hey, guess what? The Defense Department's going to get a colonoscopy. Yeah, they haven't done an audit to uncover all the fraud and malfeasance and bullcrap, and yeah, there was plenty of it in the Pentagon. I know that it's kind of sacrosanct. You shouldn't pick on the Pentagon, but no, they're just as corrupt as all the other agencies. And old Pete Hegseth says, guess what? Bend over, DOD.
Today, that changes, as it has during this administration. The era of excuses is over. We're taking a sledgehammer to the broken bureaucratic systems of the past to finally provide the rigorous fiscal responsibility this building so desperately needs. Under President Trump, we will secure a clean, unquestionable audit on our 2028 financial statements.
There you go.
And it is a top priority for the Pentagon. Has been since day one.
There you go. Gone are the days are the $50,000 toilet seats. I can't wait to see what they find. They'll probably find some polyps. I think a few of them have been removed. Millie was removed. Yeah, there you go. Here's some more good news. Consumer confidence rose in April to the best level of the year. That can't be possible because affordability and Donald Trump's doing a terrible job. Oh, my God! Consumers took a more optimistic view of the jobs market and their income prospects. That is just crazy. That is just crazy. Expectations Index measuring consumer 6-month outlook for income, business, and other labor market conditions rose 1.2 points to 72.2, driven by improving views on both the job market and household income. Isn't that amazing? Nearly 4-point beat over the consensus estimates suggest that economists may have overweighted the impact of energy prices and geopolitical anxiety on consumer attitudes because they wanted it to. They wanted to, C-block Donald Trump's economy while underweighting the stability effect of the labor market that continues to show resilience. Okay, I'm done right there. I'm getting a headache reading that. Here's some more good news. Fresh Harvard poll shows no blue wave as parties are tied on the congressional ballot, which means Republicans are way ahead. Because it's Harvard, and every poll shows Republicans losing right up to Election Day 2016. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, anyone? 2024, Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, anyone? So, you know what? We got a real good chance to kick their butts. So hang in there. Harvard caps Harris poll conducted April 23rd, 26th month. How many read? I don't care how many read. 50% support for each party in the congressional generic ballot. Survey carries a maximum margin of error, 1.2%. There you go. So it's 50-50. But it's really 60-40 or 60-40 because they always lie about stuff. So there's that. There is that. Zoran Mondani is going down in old flames. Old Zoran, he doesn't have enough money. He can't steal enough money from taxpayers, so they're kind of scrod right now. Now, the New York City budget has blown up an ungodly amount. I have it right in front of me. I mean, it's like 50% in the last decade, maybe 100% in the last decade. And so rather than cutting the budget massively, rather than saying we're not going to do free groceries and free bus rides and free daycare and all that crap, they're going to have to raise more taxes, and it's going to be on the middle class. I heard the other day he was going to do this pied-de-terre tax on these billionaires who own, deluxe apartments in the sky, in the words of the Jeffersons. Not going to be enough. Here's the new mayor, the socialist child, the man-child who's never had a real job in his life and is suddenly in charge of New York City, basically giving you the bad news. They're going to postpone the budget so they're going to ease into, you're all going to get screwed if you live in New York.
New York City faces a budget crisis of a historic magnitude. We inherited a deficit larger than any since the Great Recession. Years of mismanagement and chronic underbudgeting, alongside a structural imbalance between what New York City sends to the state and what we receive in return, have taken a toll. We cannot close this deficit with savings alone. We need new revenue.
Taxes.
And we need a structural reset in our relationship with the state.
Taxes.
That is the only way to meet our legal obligation to pass a balanced budget, and to do so without imposing a financial burden onto the backs of working people. I'm glad to partner with Speaker Menon as we call upon Albany and deliver a balanced budget. Together, we are extending the executive budget deadline from this coming Friday until May 12th, because a crisis of this scale cannot be solved without state action. I want to be clear. We are not simply asking...
You're going to get screwed. Middle class. You idiots who voted for this guy. Everybody.
Asking others to act. New York City is doing our part. We are committed to governing with the fiscal responsibility this moment demands. Speaker Menon and I have already identified meaningful savings.
No, you're not.
And we will continue that work carefully, deliberately, and without cutting the services that New Yorkers rely on. But we cannot do it alone. That is why we are standing together this morning to underscore what is at stake and to call on Albany to deliver a...
Socialism fails when you run out of other people's money, and they ran out of other people's money, and they could gut that damn New York City budget by 50% without blinking an eye. But they won't do it because there are too many people getting paid who vote Democrat. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today. Hey guys, it's Rob Carson for Relief Factor. There's a reason why at my age I can still crush it at the gym, carry an armchair by myself, or do any home improvement project without pain during or after, and that's Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, the two things that matter most, it works and you trust it. Relief Factor was created by a combat-wounded Vietnam veteran. He decided to become a doctor simply to help people, to heal them. If pain is holding you back, find out why so many people, including me, make Relief Factor a part of their daily routine. Try the 3-week quick start today. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800-4RELIEF for Relief Factor. Hey guys, it's Carson. I just got a ghost bed. Yeah, no, pay attention here, because I've been sleeping on a foam mattress since I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, which is like sleeping on the sponge in your sink. Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I have been sleeping past 7 in the morning on my Ghost Bed. It's unbelievable. If you wake up stiff, you toss and turn, if you sleep hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. It's your mattress talking. Another great thing I love about Ghost Bed, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is offering my audience their lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson. You are going to love your new Ghost Bed. Yeah, so Zoran Moran Comey, that's what I call him. He, ran for office. He's never had a job. He's never had a real job in his life. And he decides, I can try this Democrat socialism. It'll work. Yeah, because they told me in college that I could do it. Then they put him in charge of this massive economy, the city of New York. He had no friggin' clue what he was doing. He just knew he was going to give away a lot of free stuff. And now the city's going to be going bankrupt, and everybody's going to get taxed. In the state of Maryland, there's a guy named Governor Moore, and he is, I call him the Fresh Prince of Bel Airhead. Because he's an idiot. He's lied about his congressional record and all this, and the Key Bridge fell down, and now they're already way over budget. They fired the contractor, citing costs and delays. It's costing $15 million a day, just like old what's his name in Newsom in the state of California. Wes Moore, the Fresh Prince of Bel Airhead, is doing a faceplant. My friend Blanca from Baltimore. I haven't heard from her forever. She's a big listener on our anchor station up there. Welcome to the show, Blanca. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Good. I haven't heard from forever. I'm glad you're okay.
I've been hearing you, and I had to call in.
Yeah.
Listen, the word's clear. The word's clear. Now, Kamala has used it. Let me be clear. Westmore, Kimball, now Mandani. I think that they, say the word of the week is clear. Yeah. So I created an acronym. When they say, let me be clear,
yes,
what they're really are saying is, let me be the communist who lies, elitist, approve, recess. Communist lie, elitist, approve, recess. Because the structure recess simply means that they're going to pilfer as much money as possible, and they will smile widely like Westmore all the way to the bank. Because when they say clear, it truly means let me be poignant about this. I'm going to get away with so much stuff, and you all can do nothing about it.
Yep.
This has to stop.
Oh, I'm 100%, Blanca. It's interesting because I go on Facebook Marketplace, and I go on other places and just kind of see what homes are going for and whatever. And I've thought about getting an Airstream trailer and park it in Rehoboth, and then I'll see up on these little Zillow or whatever sites, a little brownstone in Baltimore will show up, and it's $190, and it's fantastic. It's 2 bedrooms, this little old brownstone there, and you got 2 bathrooms, and the basement down there is finished, and then you notice, oh yeah, well, there's bars on the windows, but I'm sure that's perfectly fine. Then you do the street view, and you see what a crap hole Baltimore is, and you realize, yeah, I can get a brownstone for $170,000, but I'll probably get murdered.
Exactly. And also the vacancies, which, well, they're about to experience vacancy in New York. The vacancies also, the vacant housing, which was all the flight, but it is going to be a bloodbath if we lose in Maryland. We saw what happened in Virginia. We saw what happened in New York. I'm telling you, California, if they win that governor's race, either Steve Hilton or Chad Bianco, I'm telling you, that's going to set the tone.
It will. I got to tell you, I moved out. I lived in Maryland the day I moved into Maryland. I wish I would have moved to Virginia. I lived there 12 damn years, and then I moved to Virginia, and they elect a cat lady. She's getting her ass kicked right now. This referendum to take away representative from Republicans is gonna fail in the state Supreme Court, and she's already a lame duck as far as I'm concerned. The people of Virginia are mad, and I got to tell you something. Something's got to be done about Maryland. Maryland could be an otherwise wonderful state, but the Democrat Party has made it suck. Has made it absolutely awful. And I'm hoping things change for your sake, Blanca. I really, really do, because I'm just bloody damn sick and tired of it. And I'm sure the people who live outside of Montgomery County and Baltimore proper and whatnot are sick and tired of it too.
Yes, and I'll send you on your email, in closing, I'll send you on your email the map of Baltimore, and it is not as blue as people think it is.
I know.
So you take care. Keep shining.
Yep.
Keep bright.
Yep.
Keep your eyes open.
All right. Have a good one. I appreciate it. It is, like I said, 12 years. And when I moved back here, I went to Germantown, where I used to live for 12 years. And I saw my neighborhood. It looks like crap. I saw the mall that closed 12 years ago. still sitting vacant with a fence that's rotting outside of it and gang graffiti all over it. I went to where my kids go to school, and I drove down the street, and it looked like Tijuana because you had people selling fruit out of the back of their pickup trucks, unlicensed. And listen, I have no problem with entrepreneurship. But really, and then I go over to, I don't know, where the sushi place used to be, and now there's a weed store, and then there's a payday loan shop. It's like Pottersville when It's a Wonderful Life, when George Bailey goes back and sees Pottersville. When are people going to get tired of this crap? When are people going to get tired of it? I know it's happening. I know it's happening. And I know that the Democrat Party is on shaky ground, and they are not going to win these midterms, guys. I know you're saying, oh, no, we're going to get our butts out there, and we are energized, and we are welcoming people into our party with open arms and our movement with open arms, because you don't have to live in darkness anymore. You don't have to live in darkness anymore. I mean, I'm looking at these little brownstones in Baltimore. Where I live here in northern, in Fairfax County, the starting house is $775,000. You know why? Government jobs. People making 70% more than everybody else caused everything to inflate here. A lot of people who work for NGOs, a lot of government contractors work here, a lot of lobbyists live here. So, it's like frickin' Beverly Hills here. It is. It's awful here. You can't afford a house here. This is why I rent. This is why most people rent. If I was going to pay my rent to own a home, I couldn't buy the house. What I pay for rent is the mortgage on a $300,000 house. You can't get a $300,000 house here. You can't get a $300,000 townhouse with this. You can't get a $300,000 apartment with this in this place. And if you do, it sucks. So Democrats do this. They got a crap touch. They just got. Let me see if I can find the crap touch. This is what Democrats do. Hold on, let me find the crap touch. Hold on 1 second. Here it is. This is one of my favorite show elements I like to use, because Joe Biden, everything he did, he made it into a crap touch. Here comes. Here is what Democrats do. Crap touch. Crap touch. Crap touch. Bill de Blasio in New York, he did the old crap touch. Yeah. Crap touch. Crap touch. And then, of course, Zoran Mandami comes in, had 65% of the foreign vote moving in here, never grew up here, don't appreciate the United States of America, want Democrat socialism and all of that. And what's New York got? Crap touch. Crap touch. Meanwhile, in California, a report released last month by the California Policy Lab concluded that Californians who leave the state often end up in more affordable communities and are able to build wealth more easily. When residents move, they save an average of $672 a month on housing expenses such as rents or mortgages. The median home price for them is $398,000 lower when they move. There are 48% more likely to own a home relative to similar Californians who stayed in the state. Crap touch Ola. That's your Democrat Party. They make it suck. This is why Democrats are like the aliens from Independence Day. They move in, they devour all the resources, then they move on to destroy other places. And they're going to try and do that in Texas, but it ain't going to work. And they're going to try and do it in Florida, and it ain't going to work. And I hope to God in heaven that Maryland finally pulls its head out of its rear end and they drain that Maryland General Asylum in Annapolis. Take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Kim Klacik Show, 9 to noon on Talk Radio 680.
Can't right now, brother. I'm sorry. It's the Rob Carson Show. So you want to hear something kind of funny? This is Ron DeSantis doing an interview. He says he flew migrants into Martha's Vineyard for the following reason. I want you to listen. Remember Martha's Vineyard? They were like, we don't want illegals here. They can stay in places like Texas. You know, these are the elites. It's like in New York City when moron Comey wants to move all these homeless shelters into the Upper West Side. And they're like, we can't have them here. We don't want the rabble living with us. Here is Ron DeSantis.
So Biden was literally flying people. He was flying people into Florida. Let's just be clear. He would find people in foreign countries. They would sign up through this app, and then he would fly them into the United States. And I think it was frustrating because it was putting a lot of stress on communities. It's obviously not consistent with the rule of law. And it was our view.
It made life a living hell for a lot of people, and it resulted with a lot of death, by the way. A lot of death, a lot of rape, a lot of abuse, but not in Martha's Vineyard.
Is that the power centers that were more supportive of the policy were in a position they weren't having to deal with the effects of the policy. Our thing with Martha's Vineyard was we knew it would be a very sharp contrast. And I didn't know how they were going to react, right? So we did it after Labor Day, so the season had ended. And so they went in, and there was 50 of them. They called out the National Guard.
They did,
They got them off the island the next day. They literally, Martha's Vineyard had an office in their downtown that said, Refugee Welcome Center, nobody is illegal. They had those signs there. I don't think they ever serviced a single person, but that was what was done. So it was an ideological thing. You know, they were doing it, but the minute they had to deal with any of the fallout from it, you did.
This is from Councilwoman Vicky in New York City. The deficit is entirely created by Mondami himself and his insane budget request of $15 billion over last year. An unheard increase to fund his ridiculous wish list of giveaways to corrupt nonprofits, illegals, and political activists. If we simply kept our spending to 2024, 2025 levels, we would already have $107 billion. We'd have no deficit. For context, that is equal to the budget of the entire state of Florida, yet the incompetent children in charge of our budget somehow can't make things work with that massive amount of money. Yeah, they're children. Children. I'm glad to watch Zohran Mamdani go down in flames. 1 billion trillion zillion percent. So here's a little report. CBS News is actually doing honest reporting. This out of Minneapolis, rating all of the Leering centers.
Jonah, how many daycares, and did the daycares have any children on the inside during any of the raids?
Yeah, Reed, good to be back with you. And my beat is very active once again. This is the first major operation, really the first major storyline when it comes to fraud Minnesota since late last year before Operation Metro Surge. What we know about this activity this morning, it happened before dawn. It started really as early as 6 a.m. local time. So no, there were no students there. We don't know that any...
Yeah, there weren't going to be any students there later either. And then in California, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars. Gavin Newsom, I want people to go to jail. Woo! Gavin Newsom, Tim Walz, Keith Ellison. Where's he lately? I don't know what's that. Where's that fop, the mayor, Jacob Fry of Minneapolis? Why is he being all quiet? Where is Ilhan Omar? Where is Ilhan? Where is Ilhan? Is she hanging out with Eric Swalwell? Rob Finnerty was on last night on glorious Newsmax. He does a great job, by the way, talking about Ilhan Omar and her husband and hers winery that never existed.
Don't you think it's just kind of like a wild, wacky, weird coincidence that her net worth in 2024, when Joe Biden was still president, long before all of these Somali fraud investigations and convictions, there have been convictions, was listed on official congressional disclosure forms with her signature on it as up to $30 million?
Weird.
But after multiple investigations were announced into her finances, and after Donald Trump got elected and people started asking real questions, she amended those forms. And wouldn't you know it, her net worth tonight now down to as little as $18,000. Look, $18,000 is a lot of money. Not if you're a member of Congress making $174,000 a year. Remember, 1 year ago, She was a multi-millionaire. Tonight, technically, she's living below the poverty line.
Yeah, she's a shyster supreme, and I hope that she's imprisoned. When she gets out, she's denaturalized, deported, penniless, back to the meth lab trailer park of the world, which is, of course, Somalia.
And she expects us to believe all of this. Both parts, the millionaire part and the $18,000 part tonight. Congresswoman World War XI. And don't you think it's odd that Ilhan Omar's current husband, her third husband, not her brother, this guy right here, Tim Minette.
He claimed that he had billions of dollars in his investment company being invested by other people. And now he says he's worth $18,000. He's the worst investment, whatever the hell he was doing, that you could possibly imagine. Completely inept. Or they were just, on the take.
Suddenly closed this world-famous winery just 7 days after the Oversight Committee sent him a letter requesting financial information about that winery, which, to our knowledge, has never produced a single glass of wine, but somehow it grew in value by $5 million.
It's time to gut these Democrat states and march people out of their offices, government offices, in leg irons.
According to the California Business Registry, the company was officially terminated on April 4th this month.
Wow.
And aides to Ilhan Omar cited an accounting error for that $30 million mistake. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. But where is Ilhan and where's Tim Minette? Why haven't we heard from them about any of this since it all started?
Weird.
And what about all those wine club members still waiting for their spring shipment of that World War XI rosé? What about them? That's why this show exists. We are fighting for the Ilhan Omar wine.
Yeah, we're going to have to see some people go to jail. Stay tuned. This is why they don't want to lose the midterms, because they know what has already arrived and what is coming. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello. Hold on. Hi, kids. Who's watching on the Rumbly Roo? Yeah, Minnesota's biggest donor to Al-Shabaab was the Somalis in the Minnesota taxpayer. I regretted getting the 2 shots. That's our DeSantis. You had to do it to go back to work. I know. It was awful what they did to you. Awful what they did to you. Governor Wes Less, he's a moron. The Fresh Prince of Bel Airhead. That's his name. The Fresh Prince of Bel Airhead. What a complete, just a jackass. Vineyard was a money launderer. Of course it was. Hi, truth be told. Good to see you there. I hope you're enjoying the show. Thank you so much for watching. What is the shelf life of ivermectin? I don't know, but you can order it pretty cheap. You can get it from the wellness company. They got kits there. I take it. So it's not hard to find. Just look at the expiration on the prescription. But you can get it pretty easy. The wellness company is great. I took it for COVID. What am I going to do here? Omar, Mondami. Oh, yeah, I got one. Voodoo, like you do. Come on. Woo! Oh. Man, that is fantastic. Tom Morello doing Voodoo Child. It's pretty new, I guess. My number 3 after Jimmy and after Stevie, and then it's Tom Morello. Oh my God, you got to listen to it. I have a 5,000 watt sound system in my Bronco, and the whole tailgate is a subwoofer. And I love me some music. Tom Morello's voodoo child. Oh, my God in heaven. It's glorious. Healthcare company has fired a social media manager for claiming to be sad that the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter missed. Her name was Allison King. She was the social media director for a healthcare company. Here she is, being an idiot, by the way, being a complete idiot. Hold on, let me start. Hold on. Got to push these two buttons over here. Here we go. Let's try it again.
We're cooked as a country when my first reaction to hearing the news about Trump's attempt was, it was probably fake. Like, immediately I was like, oh, that wasn't real. Probably fake. And the second was, aw, they missed? So happy they missed.
If you broadcast your evil, you deserve to lose your job, crazy cat lady. Yeah. Bye-bye. Good luck trying to find another job in social media, you idiot.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're all Democrats. We call them Karen. They have a whiny voice. They are all pro-choice and mostly barren. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their mind.
There you go. I think that's good news, man. People exposing themselves, showing how evil they are, wishing death on other people, all of this stuff. You deserve to lose your job. Maybe this is your life lesson. I hope it is. I hope it is if you do something that stupid and irresponsible, because karma's going to bite you in the ass. And if it doesn't happen on earth, it's going to happen afterwards. So you might want to get on the right side of things. I've made some mistakes in my life, but I've never gone online and lit candles on my Satan shrine and wished for the death of somebody like that. Unbelievable. Not good. Not good. You got to get on the right side. You know, we got to get on the right side. I'm optimistic about our country. We got a lot of victories today. Justice is coming. The feces is hitting the fan for the awful corruptocrats in Washington, D.C. and around the country. Hang in there. Overwhelm the left with joy, patriotism, and faith. Sound good? I think it sounds good. God bless you. America's founded Donald Trump. Thank God he's alive. Our military doing a great job. And until tomorrow, which is Thursday, do not catch the stupid. I love you guys. Take care.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.